Hey there, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ryan, and today I'm joined by
Nate.
Dave.
And today we're going to do a terrible terrain. We'll be talking about the Limbo Fortress. So
you have to get really low and get under it without touching it?
You do have to go.
You
how low can you go?
Don't want to touch it.
You don't want to touch it. So I guess the idea that we had come up with is the spawning stone from Limbo, created by Primus, the what is it, Motron God or something?
Motron God or a band from the 90s that
Yeah.
did some crazy bass lines, Les Claypool and all that.
Yeah. So basically, what if the spawning stone spawned another stone, a mini stone, and it somehow worked its way to Chimes of Discordia?
Yeah.
What would happen to said stone?
Either it spawned it or a piece broke off or whatever, and so you have this sort of mystical, neat, very orderly and intricately carved stone or whatever. And so we were like, well, what if somebody worked that into a fortress? Like if it was, either the ground layer or like, the keystone to the building.
First of all, the part of the concept too is the fact that when it broke away and it pulled away from Limbo, it also pulled a piece of Limbo with it. So it almost has like this chaos Limbo field around
this aura, if you will.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So around it recreates the environment of Limbo.
It's like a layer effect.
Yeah, pretty much. So for whatever it is, a mile around it, 5 miles around it, whatever, basically it becomes Limbo.
Right.
And what do we know about Limbo?
It can be anything you want it to be, anything you think about.
Crazy stuff happens.
Yeah.
Right, but if you don't think about it, anything, just wild stuff happens. Water turns to metal, metal turns to lava, lava turns to air. Like it's constantly like this, in this state of flux where everything is always changing.
Yeah, and then air turns into glitter. It's crazy. Yeah.
So and there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. But then, like, if someone has strong will, they're able to actually affect Limbo around them.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, the concept we're kind of going with is there's some sort of now floating castle thing with this piece of Limbo stone, spawning stone worked into it. And so it's the owner of the castle kind of exerts his will on everything around him. And he can literally make anything happen, like lightning rain down for a mile radius or whatever. Yeah.
So are we tying this into with like the idea we had in one of our other videos where we did Dungeons and Dragons Monsters to Slatty?
Do we want to make the guy have the castle?
I think we should make the guy have the castle.
All right. So
I agree.
So if you guys saw that video, or if you haven't, depending on which order we release these as well. So the idea is we have this guy that likes to go around kidnapping Slad, and then
slod napping, really.
Yeah, pretty much, and then cutting open their brains to take out their control gems to create an army of Slad.
Yeah, he's almost like a Thanos. Like really, he's got like the Infinity Gauntlet of like slod stones.
Nice. Yeah. Well, and this works even better because if we're saying that this stone is the equivalent of the spawning stone. Only littler.
Yeah, it draws Slad to them. And he wants them to come to him because he's all about taking their stones.
And what if it also puts the gem in their brain?
Well, yeah, because once they touch it,
yeah, they're drawn. Yeah, the Slatty are drawn to the spawning stone.
So I kind of like the idea of that he has this castle that he actually worked the stone into like one of the keystones of it.
Yeah, I almost like it because it needs to be a really big, substantial piece because I think. When the Slod get their gemstones, like I think it like rips a little piece of it and like implants it in their brain type of thing.
That's what made it grow. I think it makes them grow in there.
Oh, okay.
There's a fragment.
It's like
I thought a fragment. Like I thought a piece of it, a little piece breaks off and like embeds.
I think it's a symbolic
brain.
fragment.
Oh, all right.
Like
there you go.
The stone is never going to really decrease no matter how many Slotty are made. But
I'm saying, like I was imagining it like this, like rough hewn earth, like just like like almost like this big, like blunt, like stalactite hanging down just in the middle of the sky with a castle on top of it, and like that stone would be the ground basically of what this castle would be on. Maybe.
I was thinking more it was like a big, you can have like a icosahedron or some kind of like geometric thing to it. Because though it's a smaller spawning stone, I feel like it still needs to have that order feel to it.
So I'm going to go with I was the only one thinking of the Obama Chia Pet head.
Yes, I would say yes. You are the only one.
Oh, you don't remember that? A few years ago, they did an Obama chia pet.
No.
So it's the
spawning stone that grows? Is that what we're doing? We're putting in the... Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted the word chia pet in there because
Yeah.
it's hilarious. And the fact that they made one of Obama is even funnier.
Well,
My dad has the Bill Clinton one.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
All right, on to non sequiturs here. We're not even talking about shambling mounds, which would be things growing. You could have a shambling mound chia pet.
Well, the chia pet things are like stone, so...
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was thinking about some kind of geometric patterned stone that the castle sits upon and is built off of. So it's really a keystone, as in everything, almost crazily like, comes off of this stone. And there's a place where that guy that collects the slotty and the slotty are drawn to it, he's made a construction area that they can actually come down and touch the stone.
Yeah. Yo,
Is it like kissing the Blarney?
Yeah, it's like kissing the Blarney Stone.
So I could
And
almost...
then he removes the piece from their brain and has control over them.
Yeah. He's like, all right, it's a good fair trade-off. Well, maybe he has like a bug zapper there to like immobilize him so he can do his thing.
Some kind of poison to stun them or something.
Yeah.
Howler wasps.
I'm almost seeing too. I'm almost seeing something like the MC Escher drawings where it's like stairs going ways stairs shouldn't go.
Yeah.
Like the Labyrinth movie where like so like this guy like because he has complete control of this radius environment, like he made this castle that looks like it was made by a madman. So like you got stairwells going.
He's collecting slat. He
Yeah.
probably is.
I was thinking that there's the walls of the fortress. Well, the walls of the fortress come off the stone like this.
Yeah.
And then everything else is kind of this radial pattern off of this. So it's like the center of gravity for that area in a way.
Yeah.
Like that kind of craziness with all the stairs and...
So this thing would be an absolute bitch to map out, like for running your adventure, because it's going to be like an adventure in like 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
So is it me, or did it just become basically like a biosphere?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
In a way.
In a mad, crazy biosphere.
Yeah, I mean, or it could go more the route of a conventional castle, because who wants to map out something that's like a sphere?
Well, that's the thing. You don't map it out.
Yeah.
You just feel like, all right, the adventurers have got lost 10 times. That is sufficient.
That is sufficient enough. Yeah, I have these encounters. They're gonna happen at some point in time. It doesn't matter.
I feel like the dude, even though he's crazy, would be kind of ordered because he's a collector, right? And collectors tend to be kind of anal about stuff and have like OCD about how things should be, right? So there probably would be some kind of order to everything.
Yeah. He's got niches for his slot to stand in, like a minifig collection. You hold this halberd and look menacing. Yeah.
You over there, you look menaced.
Yeah, there you go. And
you guys, tea party.
Yeah.
Get your hats and your pinkies up.
Yeah. So this guy could like fly around in this castle thing because he's got complete control over it. And he could go like extort kingdoms or like otherwise threaten and do like not so nice things. It could be counter incursions by Gith's Array because they're like, why are the Slod getting a foothold in the prime material plane? And
this guy is using the spawning stone, the that has the power of law in it, for just selfish purposes. While the Gith's Array, maybe they're interested in gaining the stone to have a bigger stronghold in Limbo based off of it. Kind of like that idea of, it's like pretty much a powerful artifact in the right hands.
Well, I would think there are several factions that would want it. The Modron, for one, might want to get their hands on that thing and be like, we're going to take this home.
Yeah.
This is going back to Mechanus so we can
study it.
So we lost the original one, but we found this one close enough.
Well, the funny part too about that whole Primus thing with the spawning stone, he's like, nope, it's fine, it's good. There's no problem with that. I didn't mess anything up.
It happened just the way I wanted.
I actually made a species of chaos, marauding beast, but whatever.
Hey, it's not absolute
They're
chaos
like frogs.
anymore.
Everyone loves frogs.
Yep. You lick them, and it's good times.
Turn into a Grace Lad.
Yeah, that's true. It could happen. So yeah, you got this guy that's like going around like like raining like molten metal and lightning metal on people. And
well, I mean that's true because he could really just literally like if we're saying that this thing has this chaos field around it or limbo field around it, he could literally just turn create things from nothing and rain them down on a castle.
He could weaponize it. Yeah.
Like, so he doesn't even bother with traditional siege warfare because he's like, what should we use today? I know, boiling metal. Yeah, we'll make it rain boiling metal. I think that'll do the trick.
Or very sharp gemstones. That'll disappear once they come out of the radius.
Razor glass.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't know. Well, would it disappear? I mean, like, I think it wouldn't. I think it would hold its form and stay whatever it was.
But then what's this guy's motivation if he can create, like, infinite wealth? Like, why is he... Why would he go terrorizing civilizations?
Because maybe it's not really about the actual thing. Maybe it's just like a power trip.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just asked for weird stuff that he can't create or can't get. And, and there's something to said for wanting the original.
Yeah. Well, and I would say too that like the limitations of Limbo would be like it should just be like mineral type of things, like raw elements type of stuff. Like, you couldn't make a person in Limbo or whatever.
Oh yeah. You couldn't so you might be able to make a gemstone, but it's uncut.
Maybe he's like filling a harem or something like that. Is the kind of what I'm going at. Like, like maybe he wants to like. Him being a collector, collect a woman from each civilization.
Adopting a princess from each kingdom.
Yeah. And in this, like, by marriage, like, he technically is ruler of the world. But by marriages, like, he's like...
In his own mind.
In his own mind, yeah.
He's like, no, the first princess, he's like, all right, I want you to make it totally legal, cause since I'm king and you're queen, for polygamy to be totally fine, all right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to go marry another princess.
Yeah, and another one, and another one.
And another one, and another one.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it gets to the power trip. It feels a lusty sort of thing. It further coincides with his collector-y nature, Slod and women. What else does a man need in life?
So I guess the other thing, too, is, like, what are we going to use this for? Like, what, why, we create this interesting environment, so now we need to we want the players to go there since we've created it.
Well, this guy's going around stealing princesses.
Well, exactly, that's my point.
Yeah.
So, like, that's like could be the adventure in itself. So, like, this terrible terrain really is all about, basically taking a piece of Limbo and bringing it to your prime material plane, whatever that happens to be, so that you can use the cool rules. Did we see what pages they were on? 61 and 62, I believe, of the DMG on how Limbo works. And
61 and 62.
I mean, there's rules for creating the environment that doesn't change around you. There's rules from changing one thing into another thing
and moving objects.
Moving objects. So there's like the three things. So why you're in this area, like that's kind of like one of the cool things that the players can kind of experiment with. And I would say like maybe the castle itself he keeps everything the same, but like outside the castle he just lets things happen however they will. And if you think about that, like if say like we're saying that his thing is like capturing princesses, he collects princesses like Pokemon when he's not collecting Slad. It's one of the things that keep them there because, well, one, you're on a floating island. How do you get down?
Yeah.
And two, like if you leave the castle, like the ground you're standing on may just turn into fire.
Yeah. Well,
or you might get lightning to death by a rock.
Yeah.
So all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah.
Although, like, it could be too to like humanize the character a little bit. Like maybe like for the various princesses' birthdays, he always gives them a gift of like creating what they want to see outside, like on that one day. Like so, this way it gives that little short little time arc where the players have a chance to like burst in or whatever. Like if they can figure that out
rather than running through Limbo.
Yeah, exactly. So like they have these like little windows to like be able to do something.
And he thinks it's this like tremendous gift, but they're still like, I want to go home.
Yeah, well, that's not gonna happen. But here's a beautiful, picturesque, placid, scenic day for you.
Well, I mean, technically, when the adventurers get there, they could control the environment around them if they know.
If they figure it out, and if they're smart enough. If they all didn't dump intelligence because they're a bunch of sword-swinging fighters.
Yeah. Well, there is that, or perhaps a little research. I would think you'd want to like kind of like interlace some clues throughout the campaign in order to give them something to work with so that they'll try. It's still not easy. I mean,
so
DCs are kind of high.
Yeah, I kind of want this guy, even if he doesn't have any sort of class to him, Really? I still want him to like go about acquiring stuff like a tome of intellect, because he kind of figures out that like the smarter he is, the easier it is to manipulate. Like, so like he might not actually be a legitimate caster, but he's kind of like a god of his kingdom here because he's got his intelligence really high.
He's a noble, but he has like a 22 intelligence.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I'm thinking that I'd really like it to not easily, like the stone doesn't move by his behest, but he can move everything around in the area or change things.
So he doesn't have any control over where the castle
stone
goes.
needs to move on its own volition. Otherwise, he would have taken over the world already. I feel like, or like 20th level adventures would jump down his throat by now.
Well, there's a question of how recent it's happened, because that's
true.
The thing. Like he's got to like at first this thing appears, and then he's just like, what am I gonna do with this?
What if he's immortal but only in the castle?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like the idea of him being able to fly the thing around, like on its own volition. And maybe it doesn't fly very fast. Like maybe that's because when you look at the thing for being able to move things, like you have to exceed the difficulties by quite a bit to make it move. So it might move like 10 feet around or 5 feet around, which when you're spanning the globe, so it's a very slow moving invasion. Like
we're coming for you and coming for you and coming for you.
Yeah, we just decided to move the city. We just like left.
Yeah.
So like
to a new city.
So my thought is like if he like say he finds the thing and it actually starts sustaining him, but if he actually leaves the island, he'll instantly he'll become his true age. And he'll kick over. So that might be a limiting factor as well. He can't actually leave. It's become a prison.
So he brings the things he wants into his prison.
Right. And then if you're going with... So it might not just be princesses. Like, he might collect artisans. He might collect...
entertainers and...
different kind of people. Because, like, So you can create stuff, but maybe it's only the raw materials.
Yeah.
You can make metal, but it's not a bowl or a sword. It's just a hunk of metal. So you would need someone to actually turn it into the thing you want.
Right.
So that might be one of the limiting things.
Yeah. He's a little mad, and like he gets a horse trainer, and he's like, "All right, I have these raw minerals. Make me a horse." Why haven't you done it? Like he's like a Howard Hughes, like Montgomery Burns sort of figure.
Yeah. Why isn't there no horse yet?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, like, you could definitely do things like that, where there's just things that aren't on the island that he needs brought there, and then he's got
food. Yeah.
I don't think he needs the food, but
I think everybody else would need.
But he might want it. Yeah. Well, he would need it for the others as well.
He could make. I don't know. Like, well, I mean, you can't really limbo into existence like raw materials for food.
Well, no. I mean. And it would probably be tough to grow stuff because you'd have to constantly, stabilize regions.
Yeah.
In order to have it happen, it'd be a large expanse. So then basically, he has to send the Slad out to get what he needs.
So he does that sort of like the Men of Pike or the Viking sort of thing of taking what I need supplies wise. Would be part of it too.
He's a one-man raider.
Yeah.
With his flying fortress of Limbo. So I don't know. That's all. I think that pretty much wraps this one up for now. Unless you haven't said much, Nate. Are you thinking over there?
I just keep thinking about howler wasps.
Howler wasps.
Yes. Yeah. I did this article on Odaluke, and he had a slotty problem, and he made howler wasps to deal with his slotty problem. But then, oh, what a surprise! These hybridized monstrosities got free, and now they're in the world breeding and things. So. It's like a perfect kind of crazy monster to have in like a weird place like that. And maybe that's... I mean, I was thinking that the guy could use the howler wasp to incapacitate the slotty to be able to take the gems out.
I don't actually know what a howler wasp is. I'm going to have to look this up now.
It's like a really hideous wasp with fangs, like a crazy howler monkey kind of look to it with limbs and things, so... It's like an insectoid howler monkey with wasp wings and stingers.
Sounds pretty horrible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So on that note, you guys, what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe.
You can patronize us in a good way.
You can also check out the articles on nerdarchy.com.
Till next time.
Stay nerdy.